Let's do a little review, shall we? So this week we've been learning a lot about something called the decimal. Here's my word decimal right here. And we learned that decimals look something a little bit like this. We have a decimal point, and then we have a digit. Wait, let me erase that. That didn't work. Yeah. We have a digit or two after that decimal point. So there's a digit. Let's just add another digit. Sometimes you even have a third digit, but we'll just leave that alone for now. We also learned that sometimes there's a number right here before the decimal point. And if we have a number there, then that means that this number before the decimal point is a whole number. It's complete. It hasn't been cut up into anything. But all these digits after the decimal point, these are the numbers that are smaller than 1, and these are the ones that we actually call the decimal. So this is whole, this is part, whole, part, whole, part, whole, part, part, whole. Now, do you remember our French fries? Do you remember that this right here is a whole French fry? Let me make it big so you can tell. Yep, that's our whole French fry. And then do you remember that if we wanted to cut this French fry into tiny pieces, if you're working with decimals, you always have to cut it into 10 bits at a time. So here we have 2 bits that we've cut. Wait, and then there's 4 bits. And then how many is that? Yep. 6 bits, 8 bits, we're almost there, 10 bits of French fry. So we have to pretend we've cut this French fry into these tiny little bits. And do you remember that each of these tiny little bits of French fries is called a T-E-N-T-H, a tenth, if you've cut it into 10 bits? I'm sure you remember that. Tenth, with a th at the end. Say that, th. But what if, let's just say what if, I had cut this French fry not into 10 pieces, but into 100 itty-bitty pieces? Then what would you call each of those little bits? I shall give you some think time. Well, if you said 100 th with a th at the end, then you're absolutely correct. Let's move on. So here we have something that I can write as a decimal called 2 tenths, because there's 2 itty bits of those French fry that have been cut up. But 2 tenths, if you know anything about fractions, sounds kind of familiar. And so it would look something like this, 2 tenths, if you wrote it as a fraction. And so wham, bang, boom, wouldn't you know it? Decimals and fractions are cousins. Oh yes, they are. So in just those few seconds there, I basically showed you how to change a decimal into a fraction. Let me do it again just in case you didn't catch that. So 4 tenths is how I say this decimal. So the way I would write that as a fraction is simply to put the 4 over the 10. 4 tenths. But what if I had this decimal that we call 42 hundredths? Well, same kind of idea. I'm going to take a 42 and I'm going to put it over the number 100. 42 hundredths. Okay, but we're about to get really crazy. What if I only gave you the fraction and I told you to turn the fraction into the decimal? All right. Well, first you got to learn 2 words. That is numerator and denominator. So the number on the top right here whoops, right here is called the numerator. That's 7 is the numerator. And the one here on the bottom is the denominator. And a good way to remember that is denominator kind of sounds like downominator because it's on the bottom. It's down. Get it? Cool? Yeah? All right. So the question was, what if I only gave you a fraction like this, 7/10, and I told you that you needed to change that fraction into a decimal? Then what would you do? Well, here's a little trick. This line right here in the middle of the numerator and the denominator actually means divide. So you're going to be doing some dividing. You might be asking yourself about now, but which number do I divide into which number? Do I divide 7 divided by 10, or do I divide 10 divided by 7? Well, that's actually a pretty complicated question that I'm going to go ahead and answer in more detail later in the year. But for now, what you're going to do is you're going to grab a calculator. There we go. Handy dandy calculator. And you're going to type this. You're going to do 7 divided by 10. Okay, let me make my calculator bigger so you can see that better. Okay, so if you see something that looks like 7/10 like this fraction right here, you are going to type in, you can say it with me if you know, 7, let me get my laser, 7 divided by 10 equals. One more time for this fraction right here. Say it with me. 7 divided by 10 equals. And then you'll see an answer pop up on your calculator screen right there, and that's your answer. That's your decimal. Yay. Done. So what's the moral of the story? Well, here it is. Fractions and decimals are cousins. Yes, true. Bye.